In the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon, two brothers grew up side by side, facing life's ups and downs together. Michael Carter was the older one, calm, responsible, and always the peacemaker. His younger brother, Daniel Carter, was fiery, passionate, and often caught up in situations that seemed bigger than him. Their bond was strong, but when life's complications began pulling them in different directions, the unbreakable brotherhood was put to the test in ways neither could have imagined. It all began on a chilly autumn evening. The leaves were turning golden, the air crisp with the scent of rain, and the Carter family home stood warmly lit at the corner of Cedar Avenue. Michael had just returned from his office, his tie loosened and a deep weariness on his face. Daniel, meanwhile, had been sitting on the porch with his guitar, strumming absent-mindedly while staring out into the fading light. "Mike," Daniel said suddenly, breaking the silence. "Do you ever think we're just stuck? Like we're spinning in circles, but going nowhere?" Michael dropped his briefcase inside the door, then walked over to his brother. "What do you mean?" Daniel sighed. "You have your career, stability, and everyone looks up to you. But me? I feel like I keep chasing things that slip through my fingers. I'm tired of losing, brother." Michael sat down beside him. "Danny, life isn't about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. You've always had this fire in you. Don't let it go out." Daniel looked at him with a mixture of admiration and frustration. "You always make it sound easy. But I'm tired, Mike. I'm just tired." That evening became the turning point. Daniel had been secretly dealing with a failing business venture and a relationship that had ended in heartbreak. He felt betrayed by people he trusted and cornered by his own mistakes. Michael, who had always been the dependable older brother, promised him that they'd get through it together. "We're brothers," Michael said firmly. "And no matter how hard it gets, we'll fight through it side by side." The phrase became their motto. But soon, life tested them harder than ever. A week later, Daniel got a call that shattered him. His business partner, someone he had considered his closest friend, had pulled out of their project and left him with debts he couldn't pay. Furious and broken, Daniel stormed into Michael's house late at night, his fists clenched and his eyes red with tears. "They all walked away, Mike. Everyone. And now I've got nothing left." Michael stood calmly, but his heart ached for his brother. "You've still got me. You've still got us. But listen, we can't let anger win. We'll figure this out." Daniel's voice cracked. "I don't have the strength anymore. I just want one last chance. One last round before I give up on everything." Those words cut Michael to the core. He saw that Daniel wasn't talking about just business. He was talking about life itself. Michael placed a hand firmly on his brother's shoulder. "No," Michael said firmly. "You're not giving up. Not now, not ever. If you want one last round, then let's fight together. One last round before we rise back up. But giving up? That's not an option, Danny." From that night, the brothers embarked on a journey that neither could have predicted. Michael helped Daniel restructure his debts, waking up early to make calls, meeting lawyers, and using every connection he had to pull Daniel out of the financial storm. Daniel, for his part, began picking himself up piece by piece. He returned to his guitar, writing songs that reflected his struggles and his resilience. Slowly, his music began to gain traction in small Portland cafes, where people were drawn to his raw honesty. But it wasn't easy. There were nights when Daniel wanted to throw it all away. There were arguments between the brothers, moments when anger boiled over. Once in the middle of the night, Daniel shouted, "Why do you even bother with me, Mike? I'm just a failure dragging you down." Michael didn't flinch. "Because you're my brother. And as long as I'm breathing, you're not fighting this alone." Months passed, and with every passing day, Daniel grew stronger. His music found an audience online, his confidence slowly returning. A local radio host even invited him for an interview after hearing his song "One Last Round," inspired by his late-night conversation with Michael. The song touched listeners deeply. It was about resilience, about refusing to give up even when the world seemed to crumble. The bond between the brothers deepened as they faced every obstacle head-on. Together, they rebuilt Daniel's life, piece by piece. And those scars remained from betrayal and heartbreak. Those scars became reminders of survival, not defeat. 1 year later, on a crisp evening at the very same porch where Daniel had once sat in despair, he played his guitar again. But this time, there was light in his eyes. Michael sat beside him, just like before. "Mike," Daniel said softly, "thank you for not letting me quit. For reminding me what brothers are for." Michael smiled. "You didn't quit because you're stronger than you think. All I did was stand beside you." Daniel strummed the final chord of his song and looked out at the horizon. "One last round, huh?" he said with a grin. Michael chuckled. "Yeah. One last round before the next one. Because as long as we're together, there's always another round to fight." The story of the Carter brothers became one of resilience, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond of family. Through every hardship, they learned that true strength doesn't come from standing alone. It comes from standing together. And for Daniel, what had once been a cry of despair, "one last round before," became a symbol of hope. It meant that no matter how many battles life threw at them, they would always have the courage to rise again.